private newsletter in the world till he retired in '88. He came back in the last decade. We've been interviewing him because he just couldn't stay retired. And he put out the Gary Allen report as well. He helped publish None Dare Call a Conspiracy. He's been fighting for 45 years. And we've got Merkel blasting treacherous banks in Greek crisis. She's now saying they engineered it. That's a head of state, so the rats are turning on each other. That's out of French news agency. Here's Bloomberg. Merkel slams Greek scandal as Goldman role examined. It's Goldman in every case, as Bob Chapman told you 10 years ago. And so to discuss what happened yesterday and then where this I remember him saying 3 years ago that it would start in Greece, then Portugal, then Spain, now England, a hung parliament in England. They're saying England's got as big a debt ratio. We're already having treasury auction failures, the Fed's having to buy it. California knew when they raised taxes that it would cause less receipts. That was in the LA Times 2 days ago. They know raising taxes and carbon taxes is going to bankrupt us. They want to bankrupt us. They're all or nothing in. This is a criminal financial assault backed up by paramilitary military force. This is it. There's no more denial. We were right about everything. It stands on its own. You better listen to us right now. Bob Chapman of the International Forecaster, good to have you with us for the rest of the hour. Break down what's going on, because if anybody knows what happened yesterday, it is that bloodhound, Bob Chapman.
Well, thank you very much. And after all these years, I've got to tell you, Alex, and I'm going to tell you once, you're brilliant. Thank you, Gerald Celente, for the kind words, and I return them, and mutual admiration. What happened yesterday in the market, we had selling come in from Europe. I understand it was 2 hedge funds, and then the black boxes took over. And you just described the results. It dropped 1,000 points. The government rushed in and ran it back up again. There was no person pushing the wrong button. That was a cover lie, if you may. And the market is now down 140 points today and headed south again. And it's going to go down a long way when you get Richard Russell telling us the Dow's going to 1,000. I'm looking for 2,800 to 3,200. So isn't Dave Tice and Joe Granville as well, and we all know each other, and we don't communicate, so we don't compare things, and so we're on our way. If you're in the stock market, you better be out. The only exception is gold and silver shares, and of course you should all be accumulating gold and silver coins. And so yesterday was on a scale of October the 19th, 1987. I was in London that day, and all heck broke loose. Actually, they had a hurricane the night before, and all the trees were down and everything. But I had lunch with a fellow, a friend of mine, and actually 2 of them, and one of them was from the Bank of England, and he says, "You never guess what's going on over at my office." And I said, "What?" And of course, this was after the second pint. And he said the U.S., through the IMF, is selling gold, and he just knocked it down $100 illegally. So this is nothing new, and this is as damaging as what happened during late 1987. And that's why the Wickham Group and Financial Markets Executive Order was executed and finalized in August of the following year by Ronald Reagan. He was misled. Sure, he wanted to save markets when they were collapsing. Anybody would. But what these people have done, the Goldmans and the Morgans and so on, Treasury and the Fed, what they've done is use it 24/7 in every market in the world, rigging it. A command economy.
Bob, let's stop there.
Wait a minute. The same thing that Adolf Hitler had. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. And start over. We're going to break in about 4 minutes, but start over. For laymen that have tuned in, we have a lot of new listeners. We've probably gotten 30, 40 new affiliates in the last 2 months. For people that don't know what the plunge protection team is, for people that don't know what a command economy is, with insider banks, the top 6 banks running it, explain to people what happened in '87 and what's happening today and what happened yesterday.
The stock market collapsed, and when it was collapsing, they collapsed gold deliberately so people wouldn't think that there was something terribly wrong, when in fact there was. They've been doing that again under this working group in financial markets, also known as the Plunge Protection Team, made up of the Secretary of the Treasury, the head of the Federal Reserve, head of the Fed of New York, head of the SEC, and the CFTC. And they have crews that work 24/7, and their orders generally come either from the Treasury or the Fed. And they have a joint committee as well. And so they're in there rigging all the time. And this has been going on for a long time. And so this is why you can't get true markets. And the differences between what's going on now and what has gone on before is in this command economy, it's a combination of corporate entities and government working together. In fact, the corporate entities control the government. And they controlled all the politicians who they can buy off, which is most all of them. That's why it's so important. You got to kick all these incumbents out in this coming election, both in the House and those who are running in the Senate, to give us a chance of implementing something that will change the course. Get rid of the Patriot Acts, get rid of executive orders, lobbying, campaign contributions. I mean, the Federal Reserve. I could go on. And that's the course we've got to take.
Now, Bob, to inject a question here, yesterday listening to News Radio 590 after I got off air, I heard broker after broker, and I heard private day trader after day trader, and then I went and looked it up and found out that this indeed did happen. The news reported it, but just as a minor footnote, that while this was happening, everyone was locked out of the stock markets. And so the public couldn't go in and buy while it was going down. They couldn't buy while it was going up. And as you said, the black boxes took over. And so they can't say, hey, we rigged the market. They tell you somebody had a fat finger, but even CNBC has had analysts on saying, look, it was a whole bunch of stocks. This wasn't just Procter & Gamble, and it was huge plunges on the European stock exchanges that caused this. So they think we're so dumb, they basically tell us a cow kicked over a lantern.
Well, you're absolutely right. And those people saying those things were right as well. The black box trading has got to be stopped. Derivatives have to be terminated. And that's part of the things that we have to change.
Well, let's explain what black box trading is and your perspectives on where the economy is going. Dr. Roberts on with us a few weeks ago said that he is now revising his forecast and saying we could have a full-bore total depression even quicker. And we're basically already in a depression. Bob Chapman is our guest. Stay there. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cameras, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here.